Well,
looks like it's just us today, Andrew.
it's just us. It's
Kudos
a Miller cast on this big old planet.
On this grand old Father's Day.
It is Father's Day.
It
Thank
is
you.
Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to all
Shout
the
out to all the
fathers out there.
fathers. Kudos and Doplex aren't here because we tried to convince them, because they organized this. They're not even just like attending it. We tried to convince them to do it anytime other than when we record beef. But
They were really insistent.
yeah, they're organizing and attending.
Rude.
It was rude, but
It was a little rude. I'll be honest. It was a little rude.
it's because
We had one day out of the week you set aside for beef,
but they're so dead set on this. Like they just can't. For some reason, when we landed here, it was the first thing they focused on. But they're organizing and attending currently a rally against interspecial marriage.
I mean, I'm fine with it. I think you should, I think you should be able to love who you want to love. I guess they
Love
don't.
is love to all corners of the galaxy.
Exactly.
And some of the aliens on this planet have 6 tits, and not like a cow. 6 honking human milkers, but not human.
They got 4 ass cheeks.
Yeah, and
It's crazy.
and 3 buttholes.
Which is epic.
Yeah, try to wrap your mind around that one. And for some reason,
these
Kudos and
two
Doplex, yeah.
they don't want it.
Even though there's no human females on this planet, there's only alien females.
They're committed to celibacy at this point.
Yeah,
like,
it's almost
if
like
we
they're
don't
just
get out of here.
Yeah, if
They
we
don't
don't
want
get out of there
anybody
and
to
that
have sex.
passes, then we're all kind of fucked forever. Unless,
Yeah.
but I mean, we aren't fucked forever. We're permanently unfucked.
It's not like there's any kind of like big, I've had pretty good interactions with a lot of the local aliens here. I mean, obviously there's the ones that are trying to kill us, but
the other ones?
That's what keeps happening. For anybody who doesn't know, that's what keeps happening to my helmet. I keep getting into little scuffles with them, but
Yeah, he got shot right there.
the people and through here.
Holy shit! They thought your real head was in there.
Yeah, they're like, aim for the head.
Okay.
Luckily, they don't know much about human anatomy. What was I saying?
Andrew, look out!
Dude, what the?
Dude, you had there was an alien behind your head.
No, there wasn't, man.
What-
You know damn well there
You
wasn't.
added the fucking pull the tape up.
Oh, you know what? Fine, I will.
Yeah, pull the tape up. Instant replay.
What was I saying?
Andrew, look out!
Did you see it? Look again, even closer. You can clearly see a little alien coming up behind him.
Bro. Racist fortune cookie.
What about it?
So on Taco Belly and 5, I got Chinese food this week.
Okay.
They have that here.
Yeah, they've got that here.
They got beef lo mein,
Kung Pao chicken,
shrimp toast, Swedish fish, classic Chinese food.
They got fucking Mars bars.
Yo,
For the space theme.
space. So I guess they do their fortune cookies a little different around here. For some reason, this fortune was written exactly like a 1980s racist stereotype of a Chinese person talking.
Oh no!
It's like I read this.
Oh,
I read
no.
this. I read this and I was like,
no way.
this is just racism. One's always regrets what could have done. Remember for next time. First of all, what fortune is that? You're just you're that's
not a fortune cookie.
That's just like words of wisdom from your
Yeah,
fucking
it's just like
bedridden grandparent on a CPAP.
Yeah, no, that is like semi-delusional life advice from a very old person.
But also, one's always regrets what could have done. Remember for next time. Now read that in.
Also, are fortune cookies like traditional thing in China?
There's no way that there wasn't at least one white man involved in I don't believe that fortune cookies truly came from China. If they did, what a fun.
Let's do some research right now.
It's gonna be like Henry Oppenweiner in 1945 in New York City was like, well, I want to give people to return and everything, a reason to return to my restaurant. We need to stand out from all the other Chinese places, so we came up with this fun little game.
Bruh, it wasn't even invented by. It was Most people nowadays believe that fortune cookies were created by a Japanese man named Makoto Hagiwara in 1914 in San Francisco, which means...
How come when I get sushi, I don't get a fortune cookie?
Which means somebody saw or went to a Japanese man's restaurant and went, Chinese people.
Oh, God. Oh, no.
And took it back to like the East Coast and was like, this is what they do.
Guys.
The Chinese love their fortune cookies. And now it's just like a thing that happens, which is kind of crazy.
He looked up at the sky. It was pouring rain. He was on one of those windy, hilly roads in San Francisco. He looked up and he went, Chinese people!
Fortune cookies! He's just like yelling it down the road. People are like, what is that man yelling about? I don't know, but he seems excited. And now we have fortune cookies.
The original dude probably wrote dope fortunes. And this guy's great grandson is sitting here like, one's always regrets what could have done. Remember for next time.
I love the idea that there's like a family of
it's a passed down tradition.
White people in the middle of Idaho, and all of them just type out really broken English, just, making it as racist as you can be, just typing out the shittiest fortunes. Not even fortunes, but they're just like, this is the family business. We've been doing this since 1914.
Yeah, they write like really racist, stereotypical ways that like they think Asian people speak. And like when like they have a son or that one of them has a son or a grandson, and he comes in and he like tries to write like Confucius quotes and like really beautiful like Chinese literature or like really well thought out actual fortunes, and the grandpa's like, no, you don't get that's not we don't do
that here.
We're trying. That's not how they speak. Trust me, I've heard that's not how they speak. They speak like, and he just writes the most racist shit. He's like, this is
watch how it's done.
But yeah, that was I had a mouthful of Szechuan chicken and white rice, and I nearly like choked reading that. It was wonderful.
I can't remember any like really good ones I've gotten, but I know I've gotten some decent fortune cookies where I was just like, what is going on?
They're never fortunes. They're usually pretty good English though. Like they're not like, but like,
yeah, no, exactly.
They're pretty regularly just like you will stumble upon good tidings in the next month, or you'll find a new relationship in January.
Yeah, and
that's not really. Is that maybe that's a fortune? Is a fortune like a prediction?
I think. Getting your fortune told is generally like what your life is going to look like down the road. I think. I don't think it's generally just life advice.
Yeah,
I don't think. Also, the largest manufacturer of
wait, does it tell you the
fortune
state?
Cookies.
Wait, don't tell me.
It's what
does it tell
do
you the
think it is?
state? Can I guess?
It does. It gives me city and state.
Okay, fuck the city. I'm just going state.
Go for the state.
Give me 3 chances.
All right, you got 3 shots.
Wisconsin.
Nope.
Imagine I just fucking nailed it.
Just nailed it off rip.
Fucking
It's America's dairy land and fortune cookie land. A lot of people don't know that.
Fucking Massachusetts.
No, but close.
Give me the first letter of the state. Unless that's too easy.
It makes it way too easy.
All right, if it's near Massachusetts and the first letter gives it away.
It doesn't like completely give it away, but it'll definitely like, it's like, oh, okay, it's probably this.
Connecticut.
No, it is Brooklyn, New York.
Oh.
Wonton.
N is like the word. It could have been New York, New Jersey, New Hampshire.
Okay, listen, it could have been a
N
few.
N is one of the least giveaway fucking letters that could have happened in that scenario.
That's true, but I feel like you would have been more disappointed because you would have been like New Hampshire, and I would have been like, no, it's New York, and you're like, damn it.
Well, now I'm disappointed I gave Connecticut credit for anything. Connecticut sucks.
Yo, fuck Connecticut.
I can't believe I could ever think Connecticut was wisdomous or racist.
There are multicultural versions of the fortune cookie. For instance, the Mexican version of the fortune cookie is called the Lucky Taco, the red taco-shaped cookie with a fortune inside.
A taco-shaped cookie?
I guess so. It's a red taco-shaped I guess it's probably similar to like a fortune cookie. It's just instead more like a taco shape.
I don't like that.
I don't like that
Get your
either.
own thing. We don't need.
You think some other people took over that and are writing fortunes like
Doplex, you wanted to talk about solicitors this episode.
Yeah, Doplex. What brought that? What made you think of that?
Oh, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Oh.
Dude, that was supposed to be the randomizer. I don't know what fucking. I don't know.
That scared me.
I don't know where in hell that sound effect came from. That was supposed to be the randomizer.
That was crazy. Okay, here we go.
We have to keep our country gay.
There's all the gay solicitors coming to Doplex.
The gay solicitors.
I guess I didn't put the randomizer sound on the front of that sound effect, so it's just me farting into the mic with no lead up.
That's so funny.
Kudos, I heard you really wanted to talk about Valor Legends, the dumbest mobile game yet.
Yeah, what do you have to say about that, Kudos?
That's really offensive. I really don't appreciate that.
Yeah, I don't know why you would go out of your way to attack Italian people like that, Kudos. It's kind of fucked up. You know what, James? They're clearly in a funk. You know, they're giving us some wild answers. They're off trying to keep people from, loving who they want to love. Let's get back to us. What talking points do we have? God damn it.
Fucking. Oh, okay. I wanted to talk to you about this. So I had a friend in middle school who was paralyzed on one side of his body, and we definitely made fun of him a good bit. Not necessarily for that. It really wasn't for that. He was just kind of a lightning rod in general.
Okay.
But he was also it rolled off his fucking shoulder. It didn't affect him at all. And he was always a pretty happy-go-lucky, goofy guy.
I feel like a lot of people like that are. It's just one of those things where it's like you learn at a young age. It's like I either gotta just go with the flow and kind of accept the hand I was dealt, or live a miserable life. So they're always chill motherfuckers.
Exactly. But he was still paralyzed on half of his body. So it's like, you still think man, what if I was that must as happy as he can put on, is he truly happy? And then I remember one time, for some reason, he didn't really like music that much, or he never really talked about it. Me and my friends were always very musical. Everyone could play instruments from when we were young. And most of the time we hung out, it was playing music and singing songs and shit. But he was never really into that, which is normal, to an extent. But
come on, man,
I remember
pick up
one
a guitar.
we all asked them in 7th grade, we were just asking each other, what's everybody's favorite song? And in 7th grade, I was probably some shit by Bon Jovi or something, and one of my friends said Led Zeppelin.
Replay by Iaz.
Yeah, another one said Ty Cruz Dynamite, and fucking we were, and then this friend of ours who'd never really listened to music and had a pretty hard life especially for a child. We expected him just to not answer, and then kind of out of nowhere, he was like, "My favorite song is How to Save a Life by The Fray." And that is bro, even as a 25-year-old, I can't listen to that song without contemplating suicide.
Did you all laugh, or did it get really uncomfortable?
No, okay.
You're all like, oh no.
Dude, I swear to God, we all kind of laughed, and we're like, oh, that that's a weird song to be your favorite song or whatever. But then afterwards, we were on Xbox Live that night, and he wasn't on, and we were like, should we see if okay?
Should we talk to him?
Cut out his name. I just said his name, but
yeah,
we were like, should we have a conversation with him? Was that a low-key cry for help?
Yeah, it was.
It's that's how sad of a song that fucking song is. It's we thought our friend was gonna kill himself because his favorite song was How to Save a Life by The Fray.
That song was the anthem of every sad TV show.
Exactly.
Ever.
That song is brutally sad.
If you had a scene that needed some extra emotion to it, you're throwing in How to Save a Life.
Yeah.
There was no show that didn't use that. Everybody used it. It's a classic I'm going to end it all song.
Yeah, if you've never heard it, look it up. Trigger warning, depression. Fucking it's El Gato. Yo, what's up, El Gato? You want to say anything before Andrew gets back?
No. I'm back.
Oh, it's Emmanuel Focus. You want to say anything? Oh, okay, he's gone.
He's shy. He's more shy than El Gato is.
Cum shoes.
Mm-hmm.
another lightning rod of my friend group growing up.
Yeah, a classic guy.
He did this thing similar to that, not similar to that, but it was another thing where me and my friends were like, do we need to like tell him that he's doing this? Because is this like a therapist needs to address this? He would say things like he would be like, yeah, I want to play. It was really only on Xbox Live, but he did it in real life a few times.
IRL, as the
I got a
people
hair in my
online
mouth.
say.
He was like, he would say something like, oh, hey, I want to play Search and Destroy later. And then right afterwards, he would, as quietly as someone can like articulate words, he would go, I want to play Search and Destroy later. He would like say something, not all the time, maybe like once a month, but for years he would say something, and there was like a 1% dice roll in his brain that he was gonna whisper the same exact thing right afterwards.
That is so fucking funny.
It was such a astounding mental defect that like perpetuated for
weird.
like 4 years and then just went away.
Yeah, I don't think I knew anybody who did that, but I've definitely known people who do this, even if they're not talking, but especially if they're talking. It's like this uncontrollable thing where they go like, it's just this small it's this a slight release of air, and it drove me nuts. Yeah, especially in youth group, which is generally Wednesdays for us. Which for anybody who doesn't know, you show up to wherever your church is, and you have like a little get together of the kids. You talk about Jesus and all that good stuff. Good times. And it would be very quiet because we're listening to the youth pastor or whatever, and there'd just be this dude who was sitting there going like, and I would always be, if you don't stop this right now, I'm gonna freak out. It was so annoying. And then years
just
later,
passively, just like that was like his idol.
It was literally like an idol animation.
So strange.
His whole, he would just like it was just this like,
what the fuck,
this really soft grunt, and I could never figure out why. And years later in college, I think I might have told this on Beef as well, but I was in a writing class, and it was me and my buddy had it together, and this kid sat in front of us who, he was a nice enough kid. I didn't have any beef with him. He was just kind of annoying. He was actually the one who gave Courtney her first YouTube editing job.
Orgasm.
Yeah, he was the guy who gave Courtney his first
orgasm.
Courtney. He worked for the pop song professor guy, and then he had to go, and he was like, "Hey, Courtney, do you want to take over my job?" And so that's how that
Courtney,
all started.
do you want to take over my?
But this guy he had a different thing where he would go like, just like loudly agreeing with whatever the professor said at the time.
Wait, like the professor was addressing just the class?
Yeah, the professor would be like,
and he would, oh my god,
and he would go,
I hate that.
It was the worst.
I hate that.
Me and we would be in the like it's like Chinese water torture, where like every time the water drop, it gets worse, and you hear like a vine boom by the end every time it happens. That's what if we would be in the back of the class, like white knuckling the desk, and every time our professor would be like, and so that is what we call subtext, and the guy would go, and we'd be like,
I'm gonna subtext my fist in your ass. Wait, the face, bitch. Dude, it's really annoying thinking that he was doing that as like almost like a main character syndrome. Like, I'm gonna let this professor know that I am consciously listening to him at all times and I'm fucking dope. But it's really funny to imagine it as like he's just like completely zoned out, completely ignoring the professor. Like when you're talking to someone, you like a stranger that won't stop talking to you, and you're just like, and he's just like zoned out thinking about like monster trucks.
To get through class.
Yeah, and like thinking that for some reason in a room of 100 people, he has to make sure the professor knows he's listening at all times. So he's just like thinking about monster trucks and just going,
Well, every once in a while, he gets a little
That's so
too into
funny.
his thought. One of the monster trucks in his head does like a flick, and he's like, The professor's like, "Did you say something?" That's my professor impersonation. That means nothing to anybody, but the professor we had would just he talked like this all the time. He was like, "Hey everybody,
Hey,
how you doing?"
I'm fucking gay.
Yeah, I'm fucking gay. He was the one that made. Oh, we can talk about Jack Champion.
Oh yeah, I forgot we wanted to talk about that.
We were gonna talk about that. It's the same professor that made the short film Paper Football, which starred famous actor Jack Champion.
And that isn't a joke. He is a famous actor.
He is a famous actor now. He's an Avatar. We talked about it with Jack's films on that episode.
Yeah,
and for anybody who watched it and was like, did Andrew and Courtney
Does
really
Andrew really
like,
know a movie star?
Really? And so I'll throw up the tweet on screen, but I was going through Twitter and somebody had just tweeted out this thing that says, "Why is Spider," which is Jack Champion's character's name in Avatar, why is Spider posting like my, 57-year-old uncle on Facebook? Something to that effect. And it was a screenshot
Yeah.
of his Instagram that just said, "Remember why we celebrate today," or some shit like that. And it was on Veterans Day. And
Memorial Day.
Yeah, it was a casket with like an American flag over it. And I quote tweeted saying like, "People are finally discovering the hidden gem of Liberty University."
Andrew called
if you didn't believe me, go look at any of his social media and you will get hints of like, oh, yeah, this guy doesn't seem like he belongs in Hollywood.
Yeah. just for context, he was in the new Avatar, which is one of the biggest films of all time already. Yeah. He was almost big enough to have like a name on the poster. Like he was like the 7th or 8th character with like the most dialogue in one of the biggest movies of all time, and he's literally just the kid from Virginia who, if his real name is Jack Champion, I apologize, but who the fuck, if a script came across, if I was like a script writer or I was a casting director and someone's resume and headshot came across my desk and their stage name, because most actors pick I think with the screen or the Actors Guild, like to get into SAG, like you can use your real name, but you have to submit a name to your like, your profile in like SAG to get into the union.
You're not
and
allowed
everything.
to have the same as like other people.
Exactly.
I think if you're big enough, like someone can't come in and be like, "I'm Brad Pitt." Like, no, you're not. We already got one of those.
Yeah, but so like he went into his acting career and chose the name Jack Champion. If that came across my desk, I would
I'd
fucking light it on fire and pee on it, and then light it on fire again with pee on it.
Exactly.
And then throw it out.
Flammable pee.
And then burn down the whole building.
Famous flammable pee.
It's a
terrible name.
It's a terrible name. But Andrew truly does know the Jack Champion, who is a famous actor in one of the most famous movies of all freaking time. And Andrew called it that he's just some guy from Virginia that posts Facebook level boomer memes about why we need to respect the veterans.
It's so I really hope he gets an even bigger role soon, and people.
I don't.
I hope it happens solely so that I can see the fallout, because it happens to everybody that pops off. People exactly. Anytime someone new pops off, the internet immediately digs into their history. These woke liberals just won't let anybody. Can't we make mistakes? Can't Jack Champion make mistakes?
No,
we're human.
No, he is human.
He is human,
but he's kind of like a monkey in the movie. He's like a monkey human.
Yeah, he's like one of the little like wild children, isn't he? He's like
he literally is the cat. He's literally the brother from Wild Thornberrys that can't speak. That's basically his role in Avatar.
That's so sick.
He's like the IRL fucking Wild Thornberry brother with.
Man, I wish I could get my hands on Paper Football, because I've said this so many times. It was the big film that Courtney's class worked on her junior year. It was like their big project that they got to do. Mine was Eleanor's Bench, which I've also talked about. It's going to be on PureFlix soon.
Eleanor's
I'm so excited.
Bench, bro. That is a ridiculous name for a project.
It's such a stupid name for a project. Diving into the struggles of the black community, written by the oldest, whitest man imaginable.
I forgot we talked about that.
Oh yeah, no, it's awful. It's. I'm so excited for it to be on PureFlix. You cannot imagine how excited I am. The funny thing about Paper Football, and Courtney still holds a grudge about that, it never went like anywhere. I don't know if it has had a release yet. And that shit, did they do that? That would have been 2017. It's a short film, and it like never got any kind of wide release because our professor just kept working on it. He kept at. I'm like, dude, it's not good enough to put this much work into it.
Stop it.
Stop it. Move on to the next thing, my guy. Please. I'm begging you.
He truly believes in Eleanor's Bench.
Well, this professor, he believes in Paper Football.
Oh, Paper Football.
Stefan Schultze, the director of the film school, he's the one who wrote Eleanor. He believes in Eleanor's Bench, and so does PureFlix, apparently.
We need to watch that.
Dude,
you got to keep an eye on that. We got to
down.
watch it and for a bonus or something. I want to talk about Eric Andre did an interview for GQ magazine recently, and we love Eric Andre. One of the most innovative modern comedians, a true legend. He did an interview with GQ magazine, and it's so you see a nice picture of Eric Andre shirtless, flexing. He's jacked. He's oiled up. Apparently, he's gotten real great shape recently. And he's kind of giving, he's giving one of those interviews of like, oh, I'm 35 now, and I figured out the internet isn't good for me. Which most actors come to that conclusion at some point.
You're like, this shit is just not good for me. I'm being paid way too much money to deal with this.
But I like Eric Andre, so I was interested in it. And then it says Eric Andre caught up with GQ to talk about eating clean, finding balance, and why it's important to get sleep, and then why it's more important to get sleep than work out. So I was like, oh, I agree to an extent with all those things. That sounds good. I'm glad he's getting in shape. I'm trying to get in shape. That's awesome. And then there's a quote from him, and I'm like, oh man, I can't wait to read this article. It's so cool. I love Eric Andre. And then there's a quote from him. He says, our bodies are not meant for technological society. Okay, yeah, I agree with that. I don't think our psyches are really built for it either. We sit too much. 100%. I need Andrew just got a stand, or Andrew, Courtney, and Jared just got standing desks. They exist for a reason. We sit too much.
Courtney did. I'm still in the dark ages with an L-shaped desk.
For Landrew.
For freaking Landrew.
And then he's like, don't get enough sunlight. Totally. Lots of middle-aged white women drink too much wine because it's so gray out in January. You need that sunlight or you get seasonal depression. So cool.
Amen.
I agree. And then all of this, I'm agree. Sleep's more important than working out. Find a balance with your food. Get outside more. Technology isn't great for you. Don't sit too much. Try to get up and exercise. And then he's like, and we live in cold climates.
Come on, Eric.
What is it?
How are you going to take cold climates from us?
How are you going to lump in cold climates with sitting too much, not getting enough sunlight, and eating like shit? I just can't live anywhere above the equator anymore.
Don't try and take away the cold climate from us cold weather enjoyers. Cold weather has not made me fat.
No, it hasn't.
My bad eating habits and lack of desire to work out has.
Which has only been exacerbated in the warmer climate that I've lived in.
Exactly.
So explain that,
because I want to stay inside. I don't want to go outside. I want to stay inside in the AC.
Yeah.
The cold weather makes me want to go out.
And also,
Eric.
There's just no relation to cold climate and being fat. Just like there's no relation to hot climate and being fat. I got fat here because the food sucks. And I was just like, well, might as well get McDonald's. But
yeah, no, exactly.
Neither of those have as much of an impact as sitting too much and eating like shit. Like, I was just really agreeing, and it's not like Eric's still epic, but I said he's looking beautiful. I'm agree. Oh, technology, yeah, fuck technology. Fucking R.I.P. Ted Krasinski or whatever, John Krasinski,
Mike Wazowski,
R.I.P. Mike Wazowski. But then he just hit me with, you can't live in cold climates or you'll be fat and stupid.
I'm up here in Alaska. Damn.
And then I
I'm never
immediately
gonna lose weight.
was just like, this Hollywood liberal elite fuckface piece of shit.
piece.
You think we can? It kind of did trigger that part of my brain where it was like, maybe these people are right about the goddamn Hollywood elites. You live in Los Angeles and just think you can only live where it's 80 degrees out every fucking day. Fuck you,
dude. Fucking Eric Andre has gone woke.
Woke as fuck.
You hate to see it. You hate to see spreading the hot weather elitism.
I used to think we were in a 50-50 world of cold weather lovers and hot weather lovers. But I realize more and more we're surrounded by these hot weather.
I agree.
Hot weather. Bleep all that.
I'm gonna leave all of it in.
Don't do it.
I'm putting it in twice.
That's the hot weather agenda. It's melting my brain.
No, I agree. I don't know why so many people put more layers on, idiot.
That's
I can't take layers off to a certain extent. At a certain point, you're just naked and
a pedophile.
Sweating. Exactly.
At a certain
it's
point,
where all hot weather leads.
Pedophilia. Exactly. I bet there's more pedophiles in hot weather zones than cold weather zones. But also, to your point, if humans had to only live in one, I feel like cold weather is the dub, because you can just keep putting more on and self-regulate. But
bro,
when it gets too hot,
dying a cold stroke, we'll just ignore the cold related
probably
deaths. We don't get cold.
Hypothermia might kill more people than dehydration.
No. Cold weather's epic.
You ever see somebody's fingers turn black and fall off though when it's really cold?
I haven't. I've never seen that. Probably because I think it's just made up by the hot weather people. Frostbite, hypothermia, none of that shit's real. Heat stroke and heat syncope, both are real.
Heat syncope?
Heat syncope.
Is that like a QAnon term for hot weather people, or is that a real thing?
Well, this is kind of a fun. I learned it from a JonTron video.
Yo, JonTron, fellow cold weather legend.
Yeah, and
also racist. JonTron, fellow
cold weather and QAnon supporter,
fellow closed border white nationalist, fucking
fellow January 6th participant.
I believe in everything JonTron's ever said because he likes the cold weather. But listen, eat your fucking dehydrated fucking natural fucking Whole Foods grape jelly on your fucking 9-seed wheat bread with your no oil mixed in peanut butter.
Yeah.
You do you.
Yeah.
And I'm happy for you. But don't tell me where and where not I can live without being obese.
I'll be obese.
I'll be obese anywhere I
bitch.
fucking want. You fuck. I'll come to Los Angeles and I'll raise the obesity statistics there, and then your argument won't hold up, and you won't be able to hold me up either because I'll be massively obese and it'll be your fault. I will flip the scales of obesity in Los Angeles just on my own. I will be 1,000-pound marvel.
I'm gonna jump up and down and make it finally break off from the rest of the United States.
That'd be fucking sick. Yeah. Also,
just one obese dude on the fault line.
That's what the whale was
out
really
of breath
about.
And sweating. Yeah.
We should make the whale 2, where he gets revived and then jumps up and down until California falls off.
Yeah, on the San Andreas fault line until it falls into the ocean. I'd watch.
Yeah, I can't believe they made a fault line about a video game. I got something to show you. So some racist tweeted, "Welcome to Germany. Import the third world, become the third world." So it's what I can assume is an African man eating his lunch on a train. He brought himself a nice little pedestal and a bowl and some Tupperware, and is keeping to himself, not making any noise, just eating his lunch. And
Yep,
that
just
is
literally a guy
brutally
eating
offensive to
lunch.
Paul Goulding. This guy's British, this Paul Goulding guy, and this is in Germany, and he just like posted this to his Twitter and like made this obnoxious remark for some reason. And then this
It probably
guy
smells good as shit too.
That's
like,
what I'm saying. And he's
he's going in. He's having a good meal.
he's having a
getting-
grand old time.
Yeah, he probably packed that for like the way back home from work or some shit. He's ending his day. He's having a good munch.
Goddamn right. This German guy responded to this British guy complaining about this something happening in Germany. And I was like, I was ready for, because this guy also has a check mark, and I was ready for this to be really racist and like shitty. Because I just went in the comments to see like, what is the temperature check on this?
Yeah.
And it just the European like goofy sarcasm of this like took me out for no. It's not even that funny. It's just like it's such a European interaction where it's just like it. So I translated the tweet. He says, "Boy, what are you crying about, you funny tea slurper? Take care of your own country, brah."
That's epic.
It's such a
You funny tea slurper.
It's just such like a non-combative, but also like fuck you. It's just such a goofy way to just say, "Hey, shut up, fuckface." I like how in German, "Boy, what are you crying about?" translates to "Jung wust helst du Room du Komschir," but then "you funny tea slurper" translates to "Tea schlurfer Kummer." That shit killing me, bro.
Tea slurper Coomer.
So,
Family Guy.
AI Family Guy.
Chris, what the holy hell are you screaming about?
Pico, it's 9/11.
That's right,
Woo!
Chris. Let it all out.
Woo!
All right then,
The
everyone.
power of AI,
Just
baby.
Stay quiet. And
It's the
respect
future.
gravity of the moment.
Yeah, Chris, sometimes the best way to express something is to not attempt to express anything.
Amen, Lois.
Amen. Yeah, real men keep their feelings to themselves.
That's right,
Goddamn
Stuart.
right.
Don't be daunted by the lack of years. By us not being here brought us renewed cheers, despite the pain and sorrow which will not last as memories, no matter how long we'll stay fast.
He just dropped bars?
that was
When the last time you heard
You
Peter
went
Griffin?
in.
That scared the shit out of me.
That caught me off.
Let's take one
What
more
is he
scene.
doing?
Yeah.
Just to show the range of this.
Let's go. Chris, on to that. That's enough.
I need to put a stop to this. Chris screaming like a banshee wagon does not rescue issue.
He merely upsets the rest of the family. Do you understand?
I guess, sir.
Apology accepted.
Bro, do you hear that?
You know
there's
what?
Go ahead,
I
son.
think Family Guy, they should just let the AI take over. This is like the funniest Family Guy
Specifically for
shit I've
Family
seen
Guy?
in a while.
Specifically for Family Guy, I think this is a really good pitch for the next season compared to
Yeah.
what they've been making.
Just
do you
let
hear?
the whole thing be AI. Dude, Chris screaming is one of the funniest things.
That's incredible. But
It kills me.
under tip to summon Quagmire, also under the HTTPS AI Peter Live. But did you underneath? I didn't notice this the first couple times I watched it. There is a completely butchered and like jarbled together version of the Family Guy theme playing the entire time.
Yeah, no, I heard it
It's
playing in the
really
background,
weird.
and it's like a completely scuffed. You hear little lines here and there where it's like
Yeah.
bum ba-dum, and then it's like bum ba-dum,
Bam.
yeah, and then Chris just
That shit's so dope. So yeah, fuck writers and animators. They could never make
they
that.
could never make AI Family Guy.
They could never make that.
They could never make me smile like AI Family Guy did.
Oh yeah. Oh well. You know, not everyone's a fan of not everyone's a fan of Family Guy. You know, it might be a little too raunchy for some of our viewers, especially
Yeah.
our red-blooded, beautiful conservatives, and not those liberal elites, because we still respect the sanctity of
Marriage
not
between
cursing
a man and a woman.
and marriage. So, so we'll give you something a little bit more acceptable for all ages. This is a part. What'd you do, bro?
I spilled water myself. Just keep going. Spilled water all over my damn self.
You want to fix that?
No. I'm all good.
It's pretty distracting. I don't know if I can continue.
No, it's all good. I'm good.
All right. Well, someone else who had water spilled all over them, Sandy Cheeks in SpongeBob. So this is also part of our pitch deck. So that was like the more adult stuff. Here's our kids playlist. Here's YouTube Kids AI.
Oh, SpongeBob, you're such a good friend.
A few moments later.
The fog is coming! The fog is coming! The fog is coming! The fog is coming! The fog is coming!
Oh, SpongeBob, you're such a good friend.
The fog is coming.
That literally looks like the fucking SpongeBob map we play on fucking Pavlov sometimes.
It looks exactly like
it's like
the
that
Pavlov
quality.
one.
Dude,
Yeah.
imagine
The fog is coming! The fog is coming! The fog...
that's such a is that supposed to be a reference to like hit horror movie The Mist or something? Like what Squidward.
Hard cut. The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
The fog is coming. And then our boy behind him, just the random my leg fish. It's Jover. That's his name is It's Jover.
It's Jover. It's never been more Jover than it is
Also,
right now.
Patrick's house is on the left side of Squidward's house, and SpongeBob's house is where that Patrick's house is.
Don't say that, bro. They're not. It's gonna ruin our AI pitch, dude.
Oh
They
yeah.
can't know.
The fog is coming. So what if
The fog is coming.
SpongeBob was like a horror movie about fog? That's
fog.
That's basically our pitch,
SpongeBob.
and I think
the
it's
fog.
strong. The fog is coming.
I mean, that's a pretty strong way to open an episode. I cannot deny it.
Coming.
The fog is
coming.
He's literally. I mean, every horror movie has to have the harbinger
We're flipping.
character.
We're flipping SpongeBob's on its head. We're redirecting the entire series.
Yeah,
It's
we're
now
we're linking, we're building, but not really because we're just letting AI do it.
We're flipping SpongeBob on its head and driving the series into a Lovecraftian horror.
I like that. I think it's where SpongeBob just
And we're
kinda
really
needed
gonna
to
focus on liminal spaces. Pan Flute Skeleton asks,
What is that bitch ask?
"Bitch, what's your favorite burner on the stove?" I'm not a woman, so
I wouldn't know.
why
it
don't you ask
depends-
my mom?
In all seriousness, no. It depends on what I'm doing, and honestly, it kind of depends on what kitchen I'm in. So
Wrong.
where I'm at, the front right. If I'm doing
Always the front right.
if I'm doing spaghetti or like if I have a big pot of something, I'll do it on the front right because it's the closest to the sink and it's just easier to strain things over
And
there.
because the Italians are famously right wing for the most part. They sided
Exactly,
with
it's just kind of an
Hitler.
honorary thing, really.
Yeah.
And then if I'm using a pan, I go front left because I like the handle. I use my left hand to hold the handle and then my right hand, and if it just feels better on the left side. It doesn't like poke out anywhere weird. You're not going to hit it. So if I'm using a pan, I generally go front left.
I go front right for basically everything. Because what
Interesting.
I'm a righty. What can
He's
I
a righty.
say? What do you want from me?
I do a lot of random shit with my with my left hand or my left. So like my phone is always in my left pocket.
You're unidextrous.
I'm freaking amphibious.
He's amphibious. I just find it. I put it on the front right burner because I just like I put it there and then I turn it like this and then the handle is like off toward the back, but I can still grab it with my right hand and then it's good.
Yeah, the front. If
Hey,
you're
different
dude,
burners
is
for
anybody
different.
using the back burner? If
No.
you're only using one thing, if you use the back burner and all the other ones are open, I think you need to
I gotta
see some help.
I got a mountain to sell you. What's the saying?
I like vaguely know what you're going for, but
I
don't
got
know. I don't know the full saying.
I got a boat for sale.
Yeah, I got a damn boat for sale.
It's some shit where it's like you're a gullible, stupid bitch.
Yeah, no, it's
And
the
it's like,
you'll buy anything.
Let me sell you a set of Tupperware.
I have a bridge to sell you.
Oh, I have a bridge to sell you. Which has a really like niche. There was just like this one instance of some guy scamming somebody with a bridge or some shit, and then somehow
big
that turned
bridge
into a
scam.
worldwide fucking saying.
Yeah, it's like it's 2023 and people are still saying I've got a bridge I can sell you.
Let's
It's
switch
like,
it. I have a boat
honestly,
for sale.
do you have a bridge you can? I kind of want to buy a bridge.
Well, that's why I think it's funnier to just be like, I have a boat for sale, because it's like,
Just anything.
let's change it to that. It can imply the same thing, but also you're like genuinely curious if he has a good deal on his boat.
Yeah, it's like, hey man, I've got a really nice go-kart I could sell you. You're like,
If the price is
really?
low enough, basically everybody's in the market for a boat at all times. If someone told you they'd sell you a boat for $5, would you not buy it?
Yeah, that's fair. I think anything that big at a low enough price point, anybody will buy.
Exactly.
I don't know if the boat business is too big in like Kansas, but I feel like if you offered someone
They probably got water.
a $5 boat in Kansas, someone would buy it. If anything, just to resell it.
I got a boat for
So,
sale. Guys,
yeah.
make that a thing.
We've got make that a thing. It's no longer I've got a bridge I can sell you. It's I've got a boat I can sell you.
Giobi,
What's Giobi?
10 embed fails.
That's
asks-
a lot of embed fails, brother.
That's a shit ton of embed fails.
It's an embarrassing amount. If I'm
I
being
have
honest.
zero embed fails with your fucking mom.
Oh,
You get to whisper into the ears of every person on the planet, but only a short sentence. What do you tell the people?
didn't we get this question already?
I say, hey, little mama, let me whisper in your ear.
I say free real estate.
Schneebles asks, do you
What do you
actually
want?
toast the Pop-Tart? No.
Rarely.
I
Rarely.
don't. Maybe I have one. I probably have once to just try it, and I definitely don't like it. I like it raw
Yeah, I'm also give it to me raw and freaking wriggling.
and
dude.
wriggling.
Yeah.
Potatoes.
Yeah, I'm boiling them, mashing them, and
Stick them in my ass.
exactly.
Then Prez followed it up with, and which Pop-Tart's your favorite? And he spelled which like the entity in like a fantasy world.
I think
Which Pop-Tart your favorite? Yeah, hit it. I got mine.
The brown sugar one.
Brown
or
sugar,
whatever.
baby. That's the
Yep.
best fucking Pop-Tart.
The best Pop Tart.
It doesn't get better than that. And I feel like even the cookie part is like a little bit more moist on those and just like a little bit more
Dude.
flavorful than the normal cookie.
They simply got that dog in them that compared to the rest.
It's like
They're just-
always soft and chewy no matter how like old they are. It's like
They're
a
so
really
good.
it literally feels like you just put a bunch of brown sugar and cinnamon inside like a pastry. Like there's
Yeah,
no
it's so good.
misgivings about like, is this strawberry or this kind of tastes like raspberry or what?
Yeah,
it just
the
tastes like brown
second-
sugar.
second place for me is the blueberry ones, but I'm a big blueberry guy, so almost anything blueberry flavored, I'm all in. But generally speaking, it's the brown sugar.
I'm
all
definitely
day.
going brown sugar number one. I don't like any of the berry ones because just like a lot of berry stuff doesn't taste like berries to me. So then it's just like jelly, and I'm not a big jelly guy. I don't think. I'm trying to think. My number two, brown sugar, and then probably
poop. Like number two.
Oh,
Yeah.
all right. That's not. I thought you were saying that I like poop.
No,
I
dude,
wasn't-
I wouldn't.
I didn't appreciate
bro.
that.
I wouldn't say something like that, bro.
Okay, yeah, no, that's funny then.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So okay.
Poop. My number three.
Okay.
Poop is my number two. Poop is
Okay.
everybody's number two. My number
Yeah.
three, though, I don't think I like the cookies and cream one, but I remember they had some kind of cookie one that I fucked with, but I'm not.
Is it the
maybe
s'mores?
cookie dough. Oh no, s'mores. Yeah. The
Yeah.
s'mores one is fucking fire.
I
The
actually
s'mores
did
one.
also like the s'mores one. I didn't like a lot of their wackier flavors, but the
Yeah.
s'mores one was always
It's the
pretty damn
s'mores
good.
one for sure. Shout out, Pop-Tarts are fucking fire, bro. I've been doing so good on my diet the last couple of weeks, and
I'm proud of you, baby.
that Pop-Tart got me thinking right now. But I'm gonna
Jimba
resist.
sent us a photo of him at the gym at freaking midnight. He's on.
Yeah, I was
he's
at the gym
back
at
on
freaking
his
midnight.
grind. He's
Bro,
back
by
on
the
his
end of
grind.
this
We're all
year-
very happy for you. Very
Thank you.
proud.
Yeah, I've been freaking. By the end of this year, I'm gonna be filling out this less and filling out these more. You know
Let's
what I'm saying?
fuck it, dude. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, I got to get back to the gym, dude.
On the
My
Christmas
body-
episode, compare me right now with this. Let me flex.
Yeah, so everybody, make sure you take screenshots of us.
And I'll do this. I'll remember to do this on the Christmas episode. Remind me when Christmas comes around in the Discord.
And then, yeah, we'll do a
cool
direct
as hell.
comparison. Yeah, it'll be so sick. We can
That'd
do
be
one of those like morph
dope.
edits where it's like, and you just morph into your new self.
That'd be funny.
That'd be pretty cool.
Remember that edit I did on the first vlog where I morphed into a monkey?
I do remember. I love that edit.
I like that.
It's exactly what I think of when I think of that edit.
Let's frickin' go. Prez asks, all right, the beef pops off and y'all become fucking billionaires.
All
Few
right.
years later, you are tired of the YouTube game. What are some side quests, business, or projects you'd be interested in pursuing?
I mean, I think the goal for me,
Writing
as
a
far
comedy movie.
yeah, for me, my side shit is gonna be eventually actually making something. Doing some. I'd love to write a comedy movie. Me and James are, we're working on stuff.
We got a little thing kicking.
We got a little thing kicking around. I'd love to. I've always got wacky ideas popping up. Oh, dude, complete side note. Actually, not a complete side note. It's completely related.
It's on note. It's in key.
it's
It's
on note.
on beat.
Exactly.
It's syncopated.
It's heat syncopated. I got a notes here thing, and anytime I have any funny idea,
Notes here.
I write it down. And the most recent one that had me pissing my pants as far as just like a scene or like a shot goes, I've been watching Hotel Hell with Jared. I think what we've figured out, whoever they have editing and filming
Is in
that
on the
show
joke.
is like they are the goats of Gordon Ramsay's show.
I
Like
love-
all of his
I
other
love
shows are
that.
wonderful, but Hotel Hell is just built different.
I love when
because
you can tell
there's-
the editor's in on the joke when they're
Yeah, dude, the music
Yeah.
cues, the
Yeah.
cuts are some of the funniest timed things I have seen in my
Yeah.
life. And this one hotel, there's this lady. Do you know that the wig that Danny DeVito wears in Always Sunny? It's that one
Yeah.
of him doing the art show. It's
Yeah.
that really famous. Yeah, she
I
looked
love
like
that
she had
episode.
that hair.
Yeah.
And she wanted to be a singer when she was younger, and so she bought this hotel and does like she sings everywhere, and she did this like really shitty Cher impression, and it was just bad. But
Ugh.
so it's Gordon sitting down to try some food,
Gordon.
and she gets up on the stage to do her singing. And they're cutting back to like her, and then there's close-ups of Gordon at the table. He's interacting with and then she gets ready to start singing, and she starts up, and Gordon immediately is like trying not to laugh. And there's only one like this, but there is this wide shot that happens from against the wall, and it's her on the stage, and like 5 feet from her is Gordon alone at a table, trying
In an
not to
empty
make
dining
eye
room?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
there's like a couple of people in the background that you can see, and it's just him, and he's trying not to make eye contact with her and trying not to laugh at. It is the funniest
love
shot
that.
I have seen in my
I
life.
fucking love that.
And so I immediately wrote down just the general idea of accidentally sitting too close to the restaurant singer,
Yeah.
especially a bad one, because that idea just tickles me. Of
Especially
like,
when the restaurant is like empty.
yeah, and you're like, oh fuck, I'm so close to this person, and they're singing, they want some kind of like, I'm doing good.
Yeah, and
And
it's
if
like if you're a guitarist or a bassist, you can, or a drummer, you can like look down at your guitar and like kind of like get into the rhythm and things. But like
Uh-huh.
as a front man or a singer or whatever, like the way that you kind of get into things is trying to interact with the audience. And when
Yeah.
there is a very small audience, it is like one of the most uncomfortable scenarios you can be put in, whether you're them or the small audience. It
Well,
like
yeah, I mean,
sucks.
it's literally like a more IRL version of streaming to nobody.
Yeah.
It's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And dude, I was pissing myself
I
at
like that.
I don't remember what the question
Write
was.
that down.
We derailed.
But we're talking
here a
about
little
projects
bit,
that because you were talking about that we were writing some
right,
stuff.
that's why. Yeah. So I keep writing just scene ideas down. Anytime a shot or just something funny happens, I have this big list of just shot ideas and stuff that I write down. So I think as far as side quests go, I would love to eventually, write, direct, do something that actually gets out there and a lot of people see. That would be my dream.
That's what I want to do. And then also, I have a lot of good ideas for like documentaries. So kind of the direction my video essays have gone in the last couple of years. Not that I've made a ton of them, but like a little bit more like they're not. I mean, not in any way like I'm not even close to fucking documentary level shit. But like trying to find more of a narrative and like extend the story a bit more, and not just like do a like a normal like game criticism or something. But I've had really what I think are really interesting unexplored topics in a genre in a multitude of like genres and fields that I could do for documentaries, but like actually do it, like kind of take a little bit of the charm, I guess, of like video essays on YouTube, but then like actually make like a full-fledged documentary, but like one that doesn't take itself too seriously, but also tackles an interesting
about some
topic.
of your ideas, and I really fuck with the ideas. I've always wanted to do a documentary just kind of diving more into specifically purity culture, but just like church culture in general.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've had movies, there's Spotlight that kind of took on that big case when the Catholic Church first got outed for basically having 1,000 pedophiles everywhere. And there's so many different movies talking, but I don't know if anybody's, I mean, I'm sure there has, but I really just want to do like a big documentary that's just like from the top down, kind of an analysis. Drop. That's some wet ass Jesus.
Pedophiles.
Yeah, some wet ass pedophiles. I'd love to do an analysis of just specifically the American church and like how everything has come about, because I think a lot of people don't fully understand its interconnectedness with just everything wrong with it, from sexual assault to rape, pedophilia, its weird blend with conservative Republican politics. I think there's just a lot there that you can explore that a lot of people have questions about.
No, I think that'd be cool,
I'm
especially
do
if you went
everything
into
right,
like,
and they're gonna
indict me. It'd be cool too if you went over like all the stuff that happened in the 70s where they like pivoted a lot of the Presbyterian church into being like a more of like a political wing and shit like that. One of the ones that I've been thinking about for a long time is, I always find, and I'm totally a culprit of this, there's a lot of YouTube video essayists on. There's a lot of video essayists on YouTube. There's a lot of video essayists that mainly cover games on YouTube, and there's just a lot of people in a PlayStation or Xbox Live chat always talking about what developers should have done, or what if the game could do this, or why why would they make the game this way? How did they overlook this thing? It's as simple as, if they could do this, why couldn't they do this? And I always thought it was interesting, like, there is not a medium of art that ever has been or might ever will be as difficult as bringing a game from conception to, like, fruition to, like, an end product. Like, as far as art goes,
I agree.
It is incredibly difficult and, like, such, like, a strenuous collaborative environment. And I'm definitely a culprit of it, where it's like you break things down to the more, like, you just treat things kind of like really baseline, like logically. Like I said to you the other day, like sometimes you look at something and it's like, well, the sky is blue because it reflects the ocean. And it's like, if you stop there, that might make sense to the general public, just if no one ever explores it any further, just because you said two things that are true, but it's like a complete lie. Not a lie, but it's just like, you think it's a logical step, and it just isn't. But it seems like it to the majority. So a lot of people will do that with video games. Like, well, if they did this, then why couldn't they have just done this? And I think there's just so much in between there that a lot of people, obviously, not on purpose or anything, but kind of like minimize. And I kind of wanted
Yeah.
to do a documentary from the perspective of like interviewing people from the bottom all the way to the top of like big just video game staffs, and like asking them questions about like unraveling the relationship between like their job and like the consumer, and like the different arguments they've heard of like, you know, why can't Rockstar why do Rockstar games still control like we're playing on like N64 controllers in the 90s? Like, why am I why am I spamming A to sprint? Like, a lot of people, which me too, I hate that shit. Like, why is Red Dead 2 the best game of fucking all time, and I'm tapping A to fucking sprint and shit? It's like, there has to be a better, and maybe, you know, maybe there's no answer there, maybe there is, but there's a lot of questions like that where I feel like it'd be really interesting to get the insight of game developers on like breaking down those things where it's like, you think you're taking a logical step in criticizing it, but you might be missing like a mountain of fucking work and code and bullshit that is stopping them from doing that simple thing you think could make the game better, and just things like that. So I think that's one. Don't steal that. Now that I've laid out an entire roadmap to that idea and exactly what you would target and exact questions you would ask, don't do that, please. I want that.
Please don't take it from us.
I would enjoy to make that myself one day.
No, I think that's I mean, that's what documentaries are kind of for. It's to tell a story that someone might not have known a lot about. And I agree. I think a lot of people don't, especially gamers. Gamers are notorious for not at all understanding the work that goes into their art and being very passionate and angry about things that they just refuse to actually learn. But I would also agree, it's definitely like the hardest art form currently out there, just because you have all of the technical, a lot of the same work that goes into making a movie, whether it's, you know, mocap, story writing, marketing, just the whole, you know, the whole 9 yards. You've got all of that, plus you have to code a game. The amount of work that goes into the art of video games is bar none the most challenging today.
Yeah.
And I think it's why it's the biggest, is because there's so much it's the most interactive art we have.
That's the thing where, like, you think about Disney bought the Star Wars franchise for like $4 billion, and Microsoft bought Bethesda for like, or maybe not Bethesda. There was a game acquisition recently where they bought Microsoft bought a studio for like $70 billion. Disney bought Star Wars, all of Star Wars, everything, and the rights to make more, all of the merchandise for $4 billion. Microsoft bought Minecraft from a guy for $2 billion.
Yeah, well,
from
I mean, and
a
also,
guy.
like recently, and this isn't necessarily just gaming. This is kind of streaming, but XQC just got like $100 million contract to
he's making as much
games.
money per year as LeBron.
He got
$100 million
a bigger
2 year
contract than him.
Yeah, he got a bigger 2-year contract than LeBron James, the best basketball player in the history of the known universe, to play games on a website that like glorifies saying the N-word and gambling. It's fucking crazy. So yeah,
dude, it's
video
insane.
games are cool.
Yeah, video games are kind of epic.
Last question. Panflute Skeleton asks, name a single song that has special meaning in your life.
Ooh.
I have one, but I feel like it's going to be overly serious. So
I
you
also
go
have a
first.
few that are like overly serious. Some of them might not be expected.
Love Me Like You Do by Rihanna reminds me of my mom. So, I don't think I've told you this, but my grandpa died in February. And I didn't
This
tell any
past
of you
February.
guys. Yeah.
Okay, I remember
because-
when your other grandfather died. That was
Yeah,
back in, like,
my other
2021.
grandpa died in May of 2021, yeah. But
Okay, well, first off, condolences. I
Thank
know
you,
what that's
bro.
like. Shit sucks.
no, I know. I didn't bring it up to anybody just because it's just it's not weird. I never mind when people do it to me, but just to like drop in chat like, hey, my grandpa died. Like, I know you
Yeah.
guys would feel bad for me and say you're rips and shit, and I would appreciate that. So why even do it if I know it's gonna happen? that might be weird. I don't know. I was just in a weird spot. He was like, that man was my fucking legend, bro. He was fucking epic. Shout out my grandpa.
Yeah, man, fucking, that shit sucks. Rest in peace, genuinely. Like, rest in peace to your
Happy
grandfather.
Father's Day, Grandpa.
Happy Father's Day.
Legend. Well, that's why I started going really hard on the weed shit at the end of February and into March, and then I felt like I was having a heart attack and called an ambulance because I've been having a lot of like health anxiety because since he's passed away, and it's just been pretty shitty. But
yeah, right
around the time, it was actually before he passed away, I found a song like very close to when he passed away called Highwayman by it's like a all-star cast of, here, let me look it up.
Wait, the song by Johnny Cash, Chris Christopherson,
it's Willie Nelson,
Waylon Jennings, and Willie Nelson. I love that song.
Yeah, obviously I love Johnny Cash, but I was on a big Willie Nelson kick recently because Willie Nelson's just like such a cool fucking,
the vibiest motherfucker ever.
Yeah, like he's like one of the most
best white boy we've ever had.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's like a crazy talented and like he's on the good country singer.
Yeah.
He ends all of his lines with a question in all his songs. No, what do you? He's like on the Mount Rushmore of country music, which is obviously like a very southern white thing and can get pretty. You don't see. Not everybody listens to him, but it can get dicey. But he's he's that, but then he's also like, I smoke weed every day and I want all my music taken off Spotify because Joe Rogan's a bitch and shit like that. So legend.
All
he's
four
like
of those guys were based as fuck.
Yeah,
if you watch some interviews with them, there was an interview where people were like, the guy was like, so what do you think is wrong with the country in today? And all of them were basically like, we're not helping poor people. We're dumping too much money into the military. And this was back in like the, fucking 90s or some shit.
See, and that's what true like poor good old boys used to be like.
And that's the country music. Just so we talked. That's the shit that I grew up on and love. Old country western. Not all of them are great people, obviously, but some of them were just like blue collar, hardworking people.
We gotta stick together.
And they were like, this country doesn't like poor, hardworking people.
For real.
They were epic. Anyway, continue on. Sorry, I love that group of guys.
The
so the fact that you found this song actually makes me really
I'd never
hyped
heard this song
that
before.
Song.
But so it's a song of the just Highwayman by Willie Nelson, Johnny Cash, Waylon Jennings, and Chris Christopherson. And it's a song that talks about like it's the first verse is from the perspective of a highwayman, like a guy in like Red Dead that would like rob you at gunpoint and like on the road, he runs up to your carriage.
Many a maiden lost her baubles to my trade.
So that's him, and then he dies at like the hand of the police or the military police or some shit.
The bastards hung him in the spring of 25.
In the spring of 25. So and that's like early 19th century.
Fuck.
And then no, the worst early the century. And then there's one about like the late 19th century that's like a guy who was he took his slip down around the Horn of Mexico.
Yeah.
He's a sailor. And then he dies, they run into a storm and he dies and falls into the ocean. And then the next one is like a guy in the early 20th century who's building the Hoover Dam in Colorado.
Yeah, the big dam.
And he dies and he falls into like the cement.
Dam in Hoover.
Yeah.
Or Boulder,
Colorado.
Boulder on the wild Colorado.
So, and then he dies, and then the last verse is he's singing about like traveling the universe divide and like taking his soul across the universe, and it's a song about, to me at first, so it is a song about reincarnation, like that's the message of it. But to me, it was like, especially at the time when he passed away, it was like a song about like good, hardworking family men. Like so at the end of all their stories, they kind of tell a little story in their verse, and then they say, I was killed, but I'm still here, or something. It's like
the spirit of it is still here.
It's always like I'm still around, and then or I'm still here. It's like all different rhyme schemes, just saying like I might have died, but I'm still around. And I kind of interpreted it around the time as like, you know, a good man that puts in his work for his family and to, you know, make a life for himself. Like, the deeds he did for his family and his children and his grandchildren will carry on through their successes and them living their lives.
Yeah, no,
because you can't exist without your grandparents and shit and your parents and, you know, so forth.
Yeah.
So I interpreted it as that, and it's become a very special song to me since then.
Bro, that makes me so fucking happy. I have always loved that song, and the Johnny Cash's verse at the end talking about, you know, I fly a starship. Just
across
like that,
the universe divide.
Yeah, that whole end bit about just kind of tying it all together.
That's
like,
where it always
I'll
gets
be
me.
back again.
Yeah,
and
again. Yeah, his verse is always the one that gets me.
Love that song. It has
it's
so
such a good song.
much. Ah, man, I fucking love it. I'm. Thank you, Pan, for asking this question. This is a very nice.
Good
I
question,
like this.
Pan.
This makes me very happy. I don't know if I have too many that like mean a ton. I can't think of the one song though that will just like, it doesn't really matter how I'm feeling. I will immediately become. Just like I'm not gonna lie, it makes me weepy. I can sometimes sing along and finish the whole song. Sometimes I can't. Cue Family Guy Conway Twitty Cutaway, because it is a song by Conway Twitty. It's the song My Job, and it's an entire song. It starts with him being like a kid. He woke up crying. He's like, I woke up crying late one night. He basically is like, I dreamed my father had passed away, so he goes to his door to like,
because I was born white.
And he goes up and he knocks on the door and he's like, hey, Dad, I'm super scared. Like, can you, and like the chorus is, that's my job. That's what I do. It's just basically a big song about like your dad being there for you, like no matter what. And the song ends with, you know, his father does pass away. And dude, that song like will put me in just an emotional wreck every single time.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but something about that song, man. It gets me every single fucking time.
There's a few songs like that songs about strong male figures. Shout out. Like
Shout out, dude.
The Cats in the Cradle and the Silver Spoon.
A little boy blue and the man in the moon.
That song, especially because the first time I listened to that was with my dad, and like that's a song where I can only listen to that sometimes because it's just like, you know, it's a song about like, you know, a dad and a son don't really live near each other anymore. I mean, I don't know what it's really about, but that's kind of how it comes off. And then it's like, you know, I don't know when I'll see you again, but we'll get together then.
It's basically a song about a dad who's too busy trying to like be, and his son's like, can we go do this? And he's like, no. And then at the end, he's like, hey, son, let's go do it. And his son is like, I'm too busy, Dad. And the end thing is like, my boy was just like me. And the cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon. I do love that song, but it is also very just like
just like it's got there's just something about songs about the dads in our lives that just kind of be
Happy Father's Day.
They be hitting.
Man.
Happy Father's Day. Another one is
Father's Day.
A Spaceman Came Traveling. I don't know if you've ever heard that song, but that's another one.
I have actually. I don't recognize the title at least.
It's by I just found it somewhat recently because my dad was listening to it. It's about Chris DeBerg. It's not like DeBerg. It's just, but like, there's just a lot of songs out there about like the relationship of a father and son. Yeah, and those songs be hitting.
Those songs do hit. I think also just because I grew up listening to old country music, that now I just if a song is going to be emotional to me, it's more than likely going to be some old country song about, you know, something like that, and I'm just gonna be like,
hey, if they were still making country like the Highwaymen, I'd be watching
Same
the Country
here, man.
Music Awards and complaining about Lil Nas winning fucking Song of the Year.
Exactly. I would
Not
be
really,
too.
but
yeah, no.
Faja.
There.
Faja.
Faja.
Faja. Faja. Faja. Faja. Faja.
Happy Father's Day, everybody.
Except people who aren't dads.
Yeah, fuck you guys. Maybe be a freaking dad.
And Andrew, this is where you have a big announcement.
I'm pregnant.
Incredible! Nobody can catch you. You're the real Rage Racer.